Hello YouTube and welcome back to my channel. So at long last my Cavalex PFB has arrived. I've actually ordered four of these, which was one of each number that's currently available, and I've ordered one KFA. I have got some KFAs, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a comparison between the Cavalex one and the KFA kit, so we can just see. I'm not going to go into the nuts and bolts of, you know, measuring this is this. I'm just going to sort of do rough comparisons, so as you know, you can sort of get a rough idea, sort of length, etc, etc. But like I said, I'm not going to go into the pros and cons of this, you know, rivet counting. As always with me, I'm not going to do an unboxing. This is the box it come in. That's the box gone. So it is a very nice wagon. I don't know if I can actually zoom in on it a bit for you. Right, so I've zoomed in a little bit, and what I'll do is I'll just sort of run it sort of just past. Probably not the best way to view it, to be fair. Bogey's have got exquisite detail. And then on the underframe you've got your double chassis, and you've got all your air tanks and bits and pieces under there. I mean, that is just superb, absolutely superb. Pipe work is really fine and really nice. So yeah, got no complaints on that score whatsoever. It is a nice wagon, and it's got some weight to it. I wouldn't say it was mega heavy, but it's certainly not light. I mean, it's a cast chassis, so you know there isn't a vast amount of chassis in there, but what is in there is all cast, so you know you have got, it's definitely a bit of weight to it. It's certainly not some, you know, it's not all plastic and light and rubbish. So yeah, it's nicely done. So I'm just going to flip that back over and zoom you out a bit. Right. So this is one of my KFAs. This is a kit KFA I've got. I thought these were Appleby kits, but I'm not too sure now. It's possibly an S kit, but I don't know if he did them. But it is white metal, so I think any Appleby stuff was all resin kits, but I could be wrong. So it's not a kit, it's one that I bought in. It's not one that I made up myself, but it is really nice. And again, the details, you know, even right down to the bogies, and it's got all the detail on it, so you know they've gone to town on them, as you can see from a comparison point of view. There ain't a lot going on. One thing I did notice, and again, like I said, I'm not going to go into the nitty-gritty nuts and bolts, but the actual depth, if you like, of the flatbed does look to be bigger, or is bigger on the kit than what it is on the Cavalex model. But these wagons are still running around today, so I'm sure that Cavalex would have laser scanned it, or at least measured it. So I don't know which one of them is correct. I would assume the Cavalex one is correct, and the kit one is slightly over. But sort of, they are a very beefy wagon. But there is, as you can see, there is a little bit of difference there, albeit sort of, it is noticeable. But again, not something that I would really worry about. I'd be quite happy to run these at a rake, and I wouldn't lose any sleep over that. Lengthwise, it's the Cavalex one is slightly longer, but only by sort of half a mil, if that. So I don't think there's any cause for concern there in any way, shape or form. It's not like a certain salmon that we could mention. So I think they got that right. Obviously width wise it's going to be the same width wise because they all conform to the same width. So yeah, underneath. Now I don't know whether or not it's a possibility. I don't know enough about these wagons, but I'm sure someone at some point will comment if needs be, is that there might have been two different versions of these wagons built. So there might have been one with a single spine and there might have been one with the two spines down there. Because there is a lot of difference underneath. Not that you can really see the underneath that much, because once they're on the track they do sit quite low. But yeah, there's significant difference under there, but like I said, it might be because there's two different batches or several different batches of these wagons, and the Cavalex have chose one type as this kit represents a different one. Like I said, if anyone does know, you're more than welcome to comment. But once they're on the track and sitting like that, apart from maybe the brake gear, it's hard to tell what's going on under there. Just to keep it fair, I've also got a model rail, the one that Model Rail did, which is the brass one. Now this one has got two spines on it, same as the Cavalex one, and you've got a couple of air tanks. But what I did notice, with length wise, is that the Model Rail one was considerably longer. Now, I'm not totally sure as to why that is, but there's quite a considerable length difference there. Again, it might be that it was a slightly different batch of build, I don't know. But also when I look at the top, you've got like a grid here. Now I don't know whether or not that grid would represent the what would be sort of like the joint, if you like, between, so that would lift up because obviously they run vehicles across these. So I don't know if this plays a part in anything, or if that should have been cut off and put somewhere else. I didn't actually build this, but it does leave me in question, because when you actually look at the length of the sort of the bed itself, it's spot on. So it's only like the extra grid at the end that makes it longer. So I'm just wondering whether or not that grid is actually in the right place. Again, maybe someone that's possibly built one of the Model Rail ones can let me know. It might be that these are not supposed to be where they are, because that would then make that exactly correct, the same as the other two. Again, the actual sort of body of it, if you like, again, this follows far more with this one, sort of like beefy, or sort of like strength wise, if you like. If anything, this is probably a bit bigger than that one, but I would think probably this is probably a little bit over scale now, as opposed to the we're going away from the Cavalex one as opposed to going towards it, if that makes any sense. So I think that was the comparison between the three wagons, just to sort of try and keep things sort of fair. So this one I think is a little bit too long, but that could just be the way it's been constructed, is that these bits on the end aren't supposed to be there, or they're supposed to have been folded or cut away or used for something different. But I suppose if that's wrong now, that's going to be way too much to take that apart and cut it down. So this wagon's probably not going to be joining the fleet. Okay, so we come back to the Cavalex one. So first things first is to strip the bogies off. then what I found was that the actual chassis itself clips in to the actual side or the actual body of it. So this is in two parts. So what I did was just gently massage them apart. Like that. And then again, because I'm not using the couplings, I just removed them. Like that. And as I was saying, that's the die cast part of the chassis, so that's the weighty bit, and then this is just a separate plastic piece that actually is the body of it. Now for me personally, because I'm going to actually be using proper couplings or Smith couplings anyway, I will be drilling these out and then fitting the Smith couplings. So in order, so as I haven't got a piece of metal the other side, I'm just going to nip these bits out. So if you're of a weak constitution, you need to look away for a second. Obviously, once you've committed to this, then you can't go back to these couplings, or not in the manner of which you would normally use them. I suppose you could glue them back in somehow or another, but you would lose the sway on them. But I'm not really all that worried about that. That's it. Job done. The next thing I need to do now is to actually drill these ends out, so I shall set myself up to do that. As for P4 in these, or EM in them, I have to say that is just absolutely superb. It's how I wish they all were. So literally pop these ones out. And the P4 one's in, and that's just that is just incredible, absolutely incredible. I'm just like, they're in 26mm axles. They're locked. That is just superb. I do need to sort out my brake discs on these, but once I've come to weathering them and doing what I need to do, I will sort the brake discs out after that. It's a bit like I paint my wheels later. But yeah, absolutely 100% perfect on that score. Incredible. So there you go, that's the couplings fitted and the air pipes fitted both ends, and now it's just a case of reassembling the vehicle. and that's why, because the drawbars come through there, that's why I did what I did with that. This just clips back in like that, and it gives them drawbars plenty of room. So that's them all back together, and this is what I was saying, and this is the reason why I cut this piece out, is to give that bar plenty of room. You could put, I don't bother with putting the springs on, but you could put the springs back on there and that would still give that room to manoeuvre. I suppose if you wanted to, you could just pop this out, drill through the plastic, put the hook in, and then just sort of like cut that off level and then just clip this back in with that bit still remaining. But I think that would be a bit of a pain. So for me, it's just as easy just to get it right out of the way completely. But that's obviously personal as to how much you want to do to your wagons. Like I say, not many people really want to start cutting and carving a new wagon about, but for me, I'm not really that worried. It needs to do what I want it to do. So that's that. Pop the wheels back in, or bogies back in, should I say. And that's it. Done. Right, we'll just go down the shed now and watch them all fall off.